thank you for the grace and mercy granted us to gather here from different locations of this country and beyond. Especially do we thank you for the safe arrival of our dear Vice President and his entourage, and again our foreign partners to Imo State. Thank you because you created man in your own image with the mandate to increase and multiply and subdue the earth. Thank you for the various provisions and opportunities you have made for our comfort and sustenance. Dear Lord, as we have gathered to brainstorm on how to exploit them for our benefit, we pray for your presence with us. May it please you, dear Father, to direct our thoughts and rule our hearts, that our decisions and resolutions here today will reflect your will for your children. Look with favor upon our leaders, especially your son, our dear President, as he grapples with the various challenges facing this nation. Lord, we pray that your grace will be upon him, that you will grant him the strength and the wherewithal to succeed, that our nation may know peace and progress in his own time. Thank you for your favor upon your son, our governor, Senator Hope Uzodimma, as he works to ensure wealth and prosperity for Imo people. May you crown his efforts with success. May his life and that of his household be precious in your sight, and grant them safety in their numerous travels. Grant, Lord, that at the end of this event, it will be very clear that your will has been made known to us, and also that we are committed to doing the same, to your honor and glory, and to the benefit of mankind. We pray through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Please, let's be seated. Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON, Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency the Governor of Imo State, His Excellency Senator Hope Uzodimma, and his lovely First Lady. I'd like to welcome here the Deputy Governor and her lovely husband, Lady Chinyere Oramah Ekomaru, PhD. Let me welcome the Speaker of the Imo State House of Assembly, the Acting Chief Judge of Imo State. I welcome you, my Lord. Let me welcome His Excellency, the former Secretary General of the United Nations Organization, His Excellency Ban Ki-moon. Let me welcome His Excellency Alexander Boris Johnson, former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, the Honorable Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Adu is here with us, and other ministers that are here. I welcome all of you. I welcome all the members of the National Assembly that are here. I welcome all the members of the Imo State Executive Council that are here, local government chairmen. I'd like to welcome all the heads of agencies and parastatals, members of the organized private sector, our royal fathers, development partners, members of the diplomatic corps, Prime Minister of Mauritius, President of Sao Tome and Principe, President of Liberia. I'd like to welcome the President of Botswana that is here with us, our royal fathers, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Your Excellencies, it is with pleasure that I welcome all of you to Imo State, a state named after the Imo River. The river is beauty. Imo State, the voice of the East. A state that flows with quiet power. She is feminine grace wrapped in Igbo pride, where women build, men honor, and ancestors whisper through the waters. Here, beauty and boldness dance like sisters. Welcome to the 2025 Imo State Economic Summit. I welcome you. Imo State Economic Summit, a summit that will bring together CEOs, industry leaders, government officials, investors, development partners, members of the diplomatic corps, and our royal fathers and global and regional leaders in banking, development finance, infrastructure, energy. So I welcome all of you to a summit organized by the third biggest economy in Nigeria by GDP. And this summit will position Imo State as a hub for scalable business activity through partnership, investment, and innovation. You're welcome. So I'd like to also welcome very clearly to Imo State His Excellency, the President of Liberia. So Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I welcome all of you to continue the action of this event. Let me welcome a young man who is a traditional ruler. In his Umuhioma community, he didn't say he's a traditional ruler. But beyond that, he's an actor, he's a writer, he's an ICT consultant, he's also a comedian. And so if I call him Engineer Anthony Okechukwu Onyebule, you might not understand. But the name that has taken him all over the world is what I will call now. Please join me as I welcome here, Oke Bakassi.
Thank you very much, my brother, a very young Acharike. Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my job is very simple. As a traditional ruler of Umuyocha Autonomous Community and a proud son of this great state, Imo, in our own very special way, Onabiala Ndewono, we welcome you to Imo State. We are called Ndi Igbo. For those of you who are not from Nigeria, we are one of Africa's largest ethnic groups located southeast of the River Niger. We Igbos, we are the cementing agent of this great country called Nigeria. And that is why locally it is said that anywhere you go in Nigeria and you don't find an Igbo man, it is not habitable. Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, some also say that we are the Jews of Africa. That if you give us the desert, we'll turn it into a plantation. And that if you give us the swamp, we'll turn it into a modern market. That is how resourceful our people are. Imo has 27 local government areas blessed with abundant human and material resources. Owerri, where we are today, is our capital. And it may interest investors to know that this state capital has 5 institutions of higher learning. And what it makes us is that we are the biggest labor market. With 5 higher institutions of learning, you can imagine the youth population in our state and in our state capital. In sports, we gave Nigeria its first Olympic gold medal. The last all-conquering African female team, 7 of its members are from this state. Would like to welcome the President of Liberia, who's now joined us. Please, a round of applause for His Excellency. You're welcome. As His Excellency settles into his seat, besides our contribution to national sports, in entertainment, our state has the highest number of Nollywood celebrities. And Nollywood, by the way, is the world's third fastest growing entertainment industry. For all of you investors who have come to see Imo State today, the Orashi Power Project and the Orashi Free Trade Zone has positioned Imo as an investor's heaven. Ladies and gentlemen, Imo people are great industrialists, inventors, entrepreneurs, and farmers. Imo is ready for business. To formally welcome you today to this great event, please permit me to present to you our visionary leader, the convener of this Imo State Economic Summit, the man who's under his leadership, Imo is charting a new course and a new direction, a direction that will take Imo to greatness. Ladies and gentlemen, please, let's welcome His Excellency to welcome us formally today, our governor, your governor, distinguished Senator Hope Odilika Osodima, CON, Governor, Imo State of Nigeria, Onwa Ndibo.
Onye siga chili mo ya nkwa lekwi mo chiri. Onye siga chili mo ya nkwa lekwi mo chiri wa.
Please sit down. Your Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, distinguished Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, ably represented by the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, distinguished Senator Kashim Chetima, GCON, Your Excellency, the President of Liberia, Joseph Yuma Boakai, the man whose English is very beautiful, the Prime Minister of Sao Tome and Principe, His Excellency Americo Ramos, former Prime Minister of Mauritius, Marvin Rangolam, Your Excellency, the wife of the Governor of Imo State, Barrister Mrs. Shoma Uzodinma, the Deputy Governor of Imo State, Lady Chinyere Ekomaru, PhD, and her amiable husband, Sashukuma Ekomaro, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, the Acting Chief Judge of Imo State, my Lord Justice Ijoma Ogugwa, my brother governors from other states in Nigeria visiting us here today, let me acknowledge the presence of the former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Sir Boris Johnson, the Secretary General of the United Nations, Ban Ki-moon, former governors and deputy governors in our midst, the national chairman of Africa's largest political party, All Progressive Congress of Nigeria, Professor Natawe Goshua Iwada, alongside members of the National Working Committee of our great party, distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, other members of the National Assembly, both serving and non-serving, honorable ministers, kindly use the Honorable Minister of Finance and Coordinating Economy, Mr. Wale, as a point of contact in recognizing all members of the Federal Executive Council, Secretary to the Government of Imo State, and members of Imo State Expanded Executive Council, the lead sponsors of Imo State Economic Summit, particularly single out for recognition, the immediate past President of African Bank, Professor Oramah, and his team, and members of his entourage, distinguished investors and global partners, chairmen of the federal government boards, Your Royal Highness and His Eminence, the Oni of Ife, Obadeye Enitan Ogunwusi, and other Royal Highnesses here, the Esunupe, the Chairman, Imo State Council of Elders and Southeast Council of Traditional Rulers, His Royal Highness as the EC Okeke CFR, and His Royal Highness as the CI Ilomaya, the Chairman of Imo State Council of Elders and Co-Chairman of Southern Traditional Council of Rulers, the Archbishop of the Anglican Communion, His Eminence Archbishop David Onoha, the Catholic Bishop of Olo Diocese, my Lord Bishop Austin Ukoma, the President, Christian Association of Nigeria, Reverend Dr. Ozeshi, and all members of the clergy, distinguished Imo leaders, stakeholders, dignitaries here, too numerous to mention one after the other, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very sorry for the break in the cooling system. I'm told it's being worked upon. Any moment from now, we'll have the right temperature for the room. It is indeed with profound joy that I welcome all of you, distinguished guests, who have gathered here to participate in this important and historic summit, the Imo Economic and Investment Summit 2025. I'm truly delighted that the number of participants at this summit has far exceeded my expectations. This is a reassuring sign that this summit is primed for massive success. Let me welcome in a special way all the heads of states and foreign dignitaries who have found time to be in attendance, particularly the President of the Republic of Liberia, who has been with us here since yesterday. For those visiting Imo State for the first time, I'm glad and excited that you've come to witness firsthand all you have heard about us and experience our legendary hospitality of the one people of Imo State. I am genuinely honored by your esteemed presence. I'm aware that you came from different parts of the world, and some of you had to rearrange demanding schedules to be here today. Thank you for choosing Imo State. I want you to know this from the outset, that you are in the right place at the right time. Welcome to Imo State, the Eastern Heartland, the home of the digital economy and the home of hospitality. Welcome to this historic first Imo Investment Summit. In my new thinking, Imo stands for Investment Meets Opportunities, IMO. So before I proceed further, allow me to formally acknowledge and thank in a special way those who, through their generous sponsorships, identified with us to ensure the success of this historic summit. Imo State government extends its profound appreciation to you all. I think it is equally important to acknowledge at this point that through the intentional reform policies of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the general investment space in our dear country has become more clement. For the first time in decades, Nigeria is witnessing bold market-driven policy resets, notably the courageous removal of the restrictive fuel subsidy and the strategic harmonization of the foreign exchange market. Apart from signaling a decisive shift towards transparency, market liberalization, and fiscal stability, these intentional reforms have created a fertile environment where the private sector can truly thrive. This national momentum is the perfect backdrop for our own initiatives and also reinforces our drive for a $1 trillion economy, which is synchronized with federal government's agenda of economic revival and renewal, paving the way for states like Imo State to take the lead in regional development. Imo State is unique. Imo State is located in the southeastern geopolitical zone of Nigeria. Imo lies at a latitude of 5 degrees 29 Fahrenheit north and a longitude of 7 degrees 2 Fahrenheit east, and covers a landmass of 5,542 square kilometers. This is even larger than the landmass of countries like Singapore, Mauritius, and Trinidad and Tobago. Recent estimates place the population of Imo State at about 5.7 million people, making it the 14th most populous state in the country. Imo State's population is about the same as Scotland and Singapore, and larger than countries like Malta and Luxembourg. Imo is centrally located within the southeast of Nigeria, and this is why Imo is widely and fondly referred as the Eastern Heartland. Imo State is bordered by Abia State to the east, Rivers State to the south and west, and Anambra State to the north. Our capital city of Owerri is easily accessible and is less than 40 minutes drive away from the commercial and manufacturing city of Aba in Abia State, the trading city of Onitsha in Anambra State, and about 1 hour drive to the oil city of Port Harcourt in Rivers State. This unique and strategic location of the state comes with immeasurable commercial opportunities. Imo State is blessed with a gentle tropical climate and consists of coastal lowlands with numerous rivers and lakes, the most prominent of which are the Imo River, Orach and Otamiri rivers, as well as Oguta Lake. The state is divided into 3 agricultural zones of Okigwe, Olu, and Owerri, all of which produce stable crops such as maize, yams, cocoyams, cassava, and a variety of vegetables. Imo currently has the 3rd highest human development index among all states in the country, and is ranked as a top performing state in education and literacy. Imo is endowed with several natural resources, including crude oil and natural gas. We are no less blessed with an abundant deposit of solid minerals, among which are calcium, carbonate, gypsum, granite, lignite, marble, salt, shale, bentonite, kaolin, pyrite, lead, and zinc. Sharp sand, limestone, and fine clay are also present in the state. However, agriculture is the mainstay of the local economy. In addition to a rich variety of food crops like rice, cassava, yams, and vegetables, profitable trees like oil palm, rubber, iroko, bamboo, cotton, obeche, mahogany can be grown in commercial quantities. Generally, our people are known for their resilience, for industry, and a great deal of creativity. Imo has the investment decision. In the next 2 months, Imo State will be 50 years old. Imo was created in February 1976. What this means is that it has come of age. It has witnessed unprecedented prosperity in these years. It has produced the best in human resources. We have excelled in bureaucracy. Our academics are present worldwide, imparting knowledge, while our sportsmen and women have continued to excel globally. We have also produced the best entrepreneurs and entertainers all around Nigeria and the world. Yet, the state that battered these highly successful people is still grappling with challenges of primitive industrialization. Our economy is still weak, largely agrarian and underdeveloped. This explains why, in all these years, we could ill afford to host an economic and investment summit of this nature and caliber. The question is, why now? Part of the problem is that for nearly 5 decades, Imo State, like many Nigerian states, pursued development through a flawed model. The government tried to build industries, run industries, and be industry. We relied on bureaucracy instead of market forces. We attempted to incubate economic activity while standing on a foundation crippled by weak infrastructure, unreliable energy, and a land administration system so manual and prone to fraud that actively discouraged investment. That model was destined to fail, and it failed. So when we came into office in 2020, we decided to go back to the basics, to stop trying to do what the government cannot do well, to focus instead on what the government must do, and that is to create perfect enabling environment for investments and developments to thrive. I can proudly declare, without fear of contradiction, that almost 6 years down the road, the foundation for investment has been laid by providing safety nets which embody infrastructure, power, security, and stability. As we know, investment cannot thrive under chaos or without critical infrastructure. We have therefore taken time to address this squarely and successfully. Hence our courage to invite you to this summit to be part of the emerging process that will see Imo State become a haven for investors and one of the most industrialized states in the country. As some of you here are aware, we were faced with serious and far-reaching security challenges at the inception of this administration. The motive behind the sponsored insecurity was to demarcate the state and thus frustrate our plans and efforts to develop the state. More like tying our resolve, but we stood up to it and have since overcome that. can guarantee the necessary predictability and safety for capital deployment. But security alone is not enough. Infrastructure is the backbone of commerce. I'm certain that as you traveled around Owerri and beyond, you notice that the state of our roads, which we have constructed over 120 strategic and economically important roads and bridges that link our 27 local government areas and neighboring states, which double as our trading partners. Our current focus is on the link roads leading to rural communities to further expand human and commercial mobility across the entire state. A good road network is fundamental for trade and economic development. They connect the markets and reduce logistic costs. In most cases, they also reflect the seriousness of the government in creating the enabling environment for businesses and development. For these reasons and more, we have given road infrastructure all the seriousness it deserves. But like security, roads alone are not enough. You need to address the single biggest bottleneck to industrialization in Nigeria, which is power or energy, as some people prefer to call it. You can have the best location, you can have the best workforce, the best market access, and the best roads, but without reliable electricity, you will stagnate. It is common knowledge that industrial operators in Nigeria spend more money on power generation than they do on salaries. This is not sustainable. We have addressed this concern in Imo State. By the end of this month, we will launch phase 1 of the Light Up Imo project. This has shifted from the realm of promise to the realm of reality. The infrastructure for this is already in place. When those switches eventually flip, greater parts of the state will receive a steady 24-hour power supply from our own indigenous power and electricity company, Oramah Electricity Company of Nigeria. The first phase will begin with the Owerri metropolis, while the next phase will connect durable electricity to the 27 local government areas of the state. This is a game changer. There will be no more generator economics, no more production downtime, no more excuses. Yes, we will guarantee 24/7 electricity supply to the state. The risking land and titles. The third great bottleneck to investment in Nigeria has been land administration, which is currently characterized by manual processes, fraud, disputed titles, and the near impossibility of securing clean ownership. Until recently, this was a major obstacle in Imo State, but it is now history. Given the unpleasant experiences of investors in some states, we took time to holistically address the issue of land and titles for investors. This is to avoid a situation in which investors will be scared, reluctant, or outrightly discouraged from acquiring land for investment in the state. Before now, it was a problem in our state, owing primarily to the fraud-prone analog system that was in place. We have now dismantled it and successfully replaced it with an efficient, fraud-free automated system. Only just last week, I launched the Imo Land Information Center, a one-stop center offering comprehensive digital land administration information across the state. All land records are now digitalized, and we have migrated to a secure portal utilizing blockchain technology to create tamper-proof ledgers. This guarantees unprecedented ease of doing business from anywhere in the world. It means that anyone can verify land ownership from anywhere in the world. It means someone can obtain a certificate of occupancy within 24 hours. It means the risk of disputed titles, forged documents, and endless litigation has been eliminated. This process ensures unprecedented ease of doing business. Yes, we have removed uncertainty and all forms of racketeering from the equation. Now, distinguished investors, the opportunity matrix. So we have built the foundation. We have built security. We have built infrastructure. We have restored power and transparent land administration. Now let me tell you why Imo State offers unrivaled sectorial potentials. In energy and technology, Imo State hosts in East Belly the largest proving gas reserve in West Africa. Let me repeat, the largest proving gas reserve in West Africa. We have a substantiated and proven natural gas reserve estimated at 200 trillion cubic feet, with an additional potential of 600 trillion cubic feet in unproven reserves. So for those looking for opportunities for investment in the oil and gas sector, Imo State is the destination. For years, this resource sat largely untapped because the platform was not ready. That has changed. With the support of the federal government, we have established the Orash Energy Free Trade Zone, a strategic gateway designed specifically for investment in our energy sector. Early birds in this space will enjoy tax holidays and abundant growth opportunities. But this is not just about extraction. We are talking about value addition through digital-led manufacturing, technology-enabled services, and logistics, all leveraging the infrastructure of the free trade zone. And you will need skilled workers to operate these industries. We have them. Through our Skilled Up Imo initiative, we have created a large, readily available pool of digital talent and a skilled technical workforce. As cohorts complete training, some join the civil service, others enter the private sector, and many launch startups and self-sustaining businesses. Your workforce is ready. Your energy supply is ready. The incentives are in place. Yes, Imo State is ready to house your investments. Agriculture and manufacturing. Imo State has arable land, very vast, and is suitable for the production of a wide variety of crops, which can serve as food and provide raw materials for the industries. But more importantly, we are home to Ada palm. Ada palm is one of the largest palm plantations in West Africa. More than just a plantation, Ada palm is a massive input platform for downstream agro-manufacturing and for producing food and raw materials for pharmaceuticals and cosmetics. The raw material is here in abundance. The processing opportunities are enormous. The market of Nigeria's over 200 million people and beyond is available and waiting. Beyond palm oil, our solid mineral sector, comprising of limestone, kaolin, and clay, offers immediate opportunities in cement production and ceramics manufacturing. Indeed, our natural endowments are many, waiting to be explored. Global connectivity. It is not possible to run a modern industrial operation without access to the global market. Our Sam Bakwe International Cargo Airport is now fully fitted for both day and night operations. We are actively seeking partnership to maximize the cargo component, positioning this airport as a major logistics hub in West Africa. But we are even thinking ahead. We are working to open up Imo State through Oguta and Orashi River to the Atlantic Ocean. The dredging activities have been completed, and proper dredging will soon start to the Atlantic Ocean corridor. This is a vision, and this vision is realizable. Future access to global maritime trade is part of our ultimate plan. And because global business requires global standards, we have invested in world-class hospitality infrastructure. The newly restored Concord Hotel, one of the best five-star hotels in the country now, is to be managed by a leading global hospitality brand, the Hilton Hotels. This is the environment where deals will be done. Ample digital space. Imo State offers strong investable opportunities across key areas of its fast-growing digital economy. With a broadband penetration still below 40%, the state presents a significant gap for fiber optic backbone expansion, last-mile connectivity, metro rings, and rural broadband, supported by the rising digital adoption from platforms like My Imo app, LIS, and Skill Up Imo. This is also a viable opportunity for digital device manufacturing and assembly, leveraging Imo's strategic position within a regional market of over 660 million people and sustained demand for affordable devices. In addition, locations as Onhajebem and local government and Oguta provides ideal condition for cryptocurrency mining and high-density data centers due to not only the stable power from Orashi electricity project and the natural cooling advantages from the Orashi River, making them not only suitable, but for efficient, scalable green tech operations. The Okobi difference, corporate social responsibility solved. Now let me address something that often frustrates investors, and that is corporate social responsibility. You want to give back to the communities where you operate, but where do you start? Which organizations are credible? How do you ensure your investment actually reaches the people who need it? How do you avoid the compliance headache? We have solved this problem with our One Kindred, One Business initiative, otherwise christened Okobi. Okobi is a social enterprise model where self-organizing kindreds receive training, technical support, and access to funding to establish cottage businesses. We currently have over 400 successful Okobi businesses operating across Imo State. Here is what this means for you. Okobi provides a privated, credible downstream corporate social responsibility platform. Instead of guessing where to invest your social capital, you can support Okobi businesses. Instead of guessing where to invest your social capital, you can support Okobi business directly. You are not just ticking a compliance box. You are transforming lives. And these businesses can become part of your supply chain, providing raw materials or services that feed back into your operations. See it as CSR reimagined, symbiotic, sustainable, and strategic. The perfect time, the perfect place. So far, I've given you a high-level overview of the new Imo State and the untapped opportunities it offers. You can see details in our Imo Investment Handbook and similar literature, which should be given to you in the course of this summit. To sum up, we have delivered certainty, we have delivered security, we have delivered infrastructure, we have delivered power and transparent land administration, we have delivered scale, energy resources, digital talent, agricultural capacity, and global connectivity. We have delivered integration, a corporate social responsibility platform that works for you and also works for the community where you operate from. This market is currently unsaturated. There are no bottlenecks. Growth potential is maximal. We have eliminated risk, simplified administration, and provided the resources. So when I say that Imo State is the new investment equation, engineered for maximum return, I mean every word of it. In more ways than one, Imo State can be seen as a one-stop shop where opportunity and innovation await investment to unlock vast potentials. Together, we can trigger the rise of a new industrialized Imo State and make her one of the most industrialized in the country as well. We have everything it takes to make this vision happen. As I count on your understanding and massive support through your investments, just know that we have built a solid foundation to house your investment. We are now inviting you to build the future with us, which is a new industrialized Imo. Imo State is no longer on the rise. Imo has risen. By attending this summit, you can be said to be at the right place at the right time. But let's not see this as a mere chance occurrence. I see it as the coming together of opportunity and preparedness. And I want you to hold firmly to this. Imo State is willing, Imo State is ready and able to house your investments, no matter how big. Finally, let me ask, what happens when investment meets opportunity? My answer is business happens. So let us talk business. Not just business, I mean serious business. The type that transforms economies, the type that creates wealth for the people and produces maximum return on investment. I believe that's why we are here. And I wish you all a successful summit. Thank you, and may the Almighty God bless all of us and bless you for coming. Thank you.
Karigo, karigo, Owandi Imo, karigo, 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 Owa Imo, karigo.
His Excellency, the Governor of Imo State, who has done the needful and is saying hello to everybody on the front row who has come to support him. He sits right now beside His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Please be seated. His Excellency has done the needful. He has spoken to the issues that are responsible for why we are gathered here. Imo State is no longer on the rise. Imo State has risen. You are in the right place at the right time. Home of digital economy. Welcome to the Eastern Heartland. There is no more generator economy. And he asks that what happens when investment meets opportunity is business. And because there is no more generator economy, electricity will be 24/7. He is also de-risking land matters to provide ease of doing business. Your Excellency, Mr. President, sir, ably represented today by our amiable Vice President, His Excellency, the very distinguished Senator Kashim Shettima. You have heard it from, as they say, the horse's mouth. The Governor of Imo State, His Excellency, distinguished Senator Hope Uzodimma, has brought us together and told us what Imo State has to offer. Your Excellency, we congratulate you for this amazing speech which you have delivered. Your Excellency, permit me at this point to recognize Her Excellency, the former President of Mauritius, Dr. Amina Gurib-Fakim. I see you, I welcome you. It's very good to see you. And of course, Excellency President of Liberia is here. Excellency Prime Minister of Sao Tome and Principe is here. Former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom is here. And His Excellency Mr. Boris Johnson will be very pleased to hear that I'm a Chivening scholar and therefore one of your partial citizens, as well as being a very proud Nigerian. It's good to see that governors have started arriving. His Excellency, the Governor of Nasarawa State, Engineer Sule, has arrived. It's good to see you, sir. Welcome. And would like to say that those who have gathered here, we're very pleased to have them. The very distinguished Senator Yari has also joined us here, and all other members of the National Assembly. We have with us very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Bui Kwok Hung, who is here as a man from the ambassadorial class, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of Vietnam. Your Excellency, we sincerely welcome you. And of course, we have Professor Oramah, former President of Afrexim Bank, who has joined us. And we also have Chief Leo Staneke, who is President, Founder, and Chair of Xenox and Conga. We welcome you here, and we're very delighted that you could make it. We're very pleased with our host governor, who has decided that everybody should be in Imo today. And a woman who is very much after my heart is seated beside him. When a man introduces his wife and says, I have with me Her Excellency, the First Lady of Imo State, Her Excellency Barrister Chioma Uzodimma, it means that he cherishes and values her and everything she brings to the table.
Sweet mother, we never forget you for this suffer where you suffer for us. Oh, sweet mother, sweet mother. Oh,
Thank you very much for celebrating the First Lady. We have with us here a man who is recognized worldwide as a leading entrepreneur, businessman, plenipotentiary. Help us welcome President of the Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote. He's here with us. The Ekiti State Governor is here with us. My brother, it's good to see you, Your Excellency. From where I am now, at my age of over 60, glasses would help, but I think I can see the former Senate President seated with us, and once I get the list properly from my vantage point, I would recognize all of you, and my colleagues are here to do the needful. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, goodwill messages are a formidable part of any event. It is the place one goes to, friends, families, and stakeholders of Imo State, and His Excellency, the head honcho of Imo State, Governor Hope Uzodimma, to hear from them about how happy they are about this Imo State Economic Summit, built to attract investment, make an impact, push Imo State into the stratosphere of a state with much to offer and a powerful economic growth at hand. Your Excellencies, I'm truly delighted to be here with all my colleagues who have come in their numbers. But to kick off the goodwill message, permit me to introduce our next speaker who will open up the goodwill messages. I have Chief Bayo Edun, and he says, I'm just simply a mister. And I would like to introduce him as a man who went to the University of London, has his master's in development economics from the University of Sussex, and has held very important positions across banking and in the Wall Street firms. He joined the World Bank, where he worked on economic and financial packages for several countries in Latin America, Asia, and beyond. This is the man we now invite to join us and deliver his goodwill. He is our Honorable Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy. Please help me welcome Mr. Wale Edun. Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you and good afternoon. Thank you very much for that elaborate introduction, Eugenia. His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, ably represented by my colleague in the Federal Executive Council, the Vice President, His Excellency Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON. Let me try to truncate the very extensive protocol that has already been established, but not before recognizing the heads of state that we have here with us from Liberia, Sao Tome and Principe, and the ex-heads of state and prime ministers, including, of course, Mr. Boris Johnson, former UK Prime Minister, and others. Let me recognize our host, our amiable host, Governor Hope Uzodimma, and his dear wife. Governor Hope wears many hats. Today he's in a business suit, but at the same time he's very much our renewed hope ambassador. He's our mobilizer at the grassroots level. He's chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum. So he wears many hats, he has the energy, and as we have seen, he has the capacity. And we thank you for the warm reception you have accorded us today. Let me quickly recognize the former Secretary General of the UN, Mr. Ban Ki-moon. And we have here the National Assembly, the senators, the House of Reps. Of course, we have our governors, and the long list included the governors of Nasarawa, Ondo, Ekiti, Edo, amongst others. And let me, while using the well-worn Nigerian phrase, all protocols duly observed, remember that we are at a business summit. We are talking about partnership. The private sector, which is 90% of the economy, is key. We're happy to have Alhaji Aliko Dangote. We're happy to have Professor Benedict Oramah, Leo Staneke, amongst others from the private sector as an important part of this conversation. Your Excellency, you've given us a tour de force, and we are convinced. And let me say that on the journey in the infrastructure revolution that you talked about, that you undertaken since 2020, it was evident. Dual carriageways, the median wonderfully manicured, not a pothole in sight. That is the way to lay the foundation to attract investors. Very well done, Governor Hope Uzodimma. But you know, the icing on the cake for us, when you tell us that we are looking at 24/7 electricity, that is the real game changer. And I must say, Governor Hope, the basis for you to be able to aspire to provide the people of Imo with electricity 24/7 is because under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the game has changed. There has been reform and there has been liberation in that sector, such that the government monopoly was broken. Any state that wants to can generate, can transmit, and can distribute power to its people, probably in conjunction with the private sector. But let me say that I am very deeply honored to be part of this economic and investment summit. And of course, Imo State, over 5 million people, is endowed with tremendous natural resources. We have heard from the governor. Your title, Unlocking the Economic Potential of Imo through Partnership, Investment and Innovation, it captures precisely the direction of economic policy under the administration of President Tinubu. And you know, you've talked about reforms. We know that the impact of these reforms on the Nigerian economy is clear, is measurable. The strategic role of the states and the subnational governments is driving growth. The expansive financial intervention available to businesses and households. And finally, I'll also talk a little bit about the Imo's potential, all very quickly. So we know the economy is growing faster than it has for a decade or so across all sectors, particularly industry, particularly agriculture is much faster. So that what we have now is that from about 2% growth before this administration, it is now 4% per annum growth is what we're looking at in the Nigerian economy. So Nigeria's economy is moving, and it's moving in the right direction. But our target is not 4%. The target set for us is 7% per annum, because that's more than double the rate of population growth. It means we'll be lifting millions of Nigerians out of poverty. And we need scaling of private and public investment to get there. And that's why we are gathered here today. Of course, you know the important fiscal outcomes that have followed from the reform process. Chiefly, there has been a doubling of funds available to the states. There has been an 86% increase in funds available, a 66% increase in funds available to the local governments. And accordingly, the federal government has also benefited from correcting the distortions in the economy and allowing revenues to flow directly to the government purse. Inflation is being tamed. Consecutively, inflation has declined to, in the last quarter, by October, was about 16%, after several consecutive months of easing. And likewise, the average Nigerian household is spending about 50% of their income on basic needs, compared to over 90% before the advent of the recent reforms. So the clear national objective is to achieve lower inflation for every naira, to retain its purchasing power, to have savings growing, because it is not through borrowing that we are going to get the investment, and we are going to come with a mass savings plan to allow Nigerians at all levels to save and invest in productive activity. The social protection net, the social safety net, is a commitment of Mr. President not to leave the poorest and the most vulnerable behind. And there continues to be a strengthening of direct payments to the least well-off in a transparent and accountable way. Let me, because the governor has already talked about digitization, he's already talked about power. You can't hear me? Yes. Apologies. I understand you couldn't hear me very well. Sorry about that. These technical things do happen. But I want to give us really the message that in terms of Imo State where we are, unlocking Imo State's economic potential, it is vast. We have heard about what is there by way of resources. And what we need to do in terms of industrial clustering and manufacturing is develop light manufacturing, agro-processing, pharmaceuticals, packaging, building materials, and the like. And of course, to leverage the proximity of Imo to the huge markets in the southeast and south-south. Of course, as we've heard, the youth are key, and the digital economy is key for them. They are being enabled and empowered. They need to get into software development, business process outsourcing, creative industries, and AI-enabled services. This is the jargon of their time. And by giving them electricity, we are empowering them to be able to put in their best. His Excellency, the governor, talked about agriculture being key. And the agriculture and the agro value chain is important. Processing, storing, branding, and of course, export. We heard about the cargo export terminal and services. Of course, all these add to ease of doing business. And as the investors here will tell you, you have to make it easy, you have to make it attractive for them so that they can come, invest, increase productivity, grow the economy, create jobs, and lift millions in Imo and elsewhere out of poverty. In conclusion, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let's say that Nigeria as a whole is no longer a country of latent, stagnant potential. It is, again, a country of rising opportunity. And therein lies the nexus that the governor talked about. When opportunity is there, business follows when you put the right framework in place. So our economy is growing. Our fiscal capacity is strengthening. Our states are empowered. They are resourced. They are given the funding that the law says they should get under the rules of Nigeria. Our social protection is expanding, which shows the empathy and the humane approach to governance of Mr. President, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Our digital, energy, and industrial foundations are being rebuilt. So Imo State stands at the intersection of human capital, entrepreneurial culture, and strategic geography given to it by God, as also man, because we talked about the extension, the dredging to the sea of the Imo River. So let us work together, federal, state, and even local governments, and the private sector to develop, and with our development partners, to turn the potential of Imo, turn the potential of Nigeria into measurable prosperity. I thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. This way, sir. You can go this way. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. The coordinating Minister of the Economy and the Honorable Minister of Finance, Mr. Wale Edun, giving his goodwill and reiterating why Imo should be a destination of choice for investors. Your Excellencies, Royal Majesties, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is written in the Holy Book that how pleasant it is for brothers to dwell in unity. That unity and collaboration is demonstrated here this afternoon by the presence of the progressive governors from more than 17 states of Nigeria. I want us to once again please give all of His Excellencies a round of applause. I see the Governor of Edo State, His Excellency Senator Kwebelo. I see Dr. Ayedatiwa of Ondo State and many others. Please a round of applause for them one more time. My colleagues will continue to mention the name of the others who have joined us. We're also joined by the distinguished Senator Abdulaziz Yari. A warm welcome to you. Of course, the former chairman of APC and former governor of Kano State is also here. His Excellency, Dr. Ganduje. Your Excellency, a warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us. His Excellency, Placide Njoku, the former governor of Imo State, has also joined us here. Your Excellency, you're welcome. The Honorable Minister of State for Industry, Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment is also here. A warm welcome to you. Mr. Wale Edun spoke about the private sector that is heavily represented here. I'd like to quickly acknowledge some of this private sector stakeholders who have joined us here this afternoon. I begin with a renowned entrepreneur and one proud son of the Southeast, Dr. ABC Ojako. A very good afternoon to you, sir. Of course, the man who drove local content to the success story that it is today, Obuago, Dr. N.S. Wapa. A very good afternoon to you as well. The chairman of Walter Smith is also here, a company that does business in the state. Mr. Abdulrasak Isa, a very good afternoon to you as well. Dr. Tony Chukwueke, chairman of Sterling Global Oil, we acknowledge you. The Managing Director of Renaissance Africa, Engineer Tony Atta, represented by Madam Abimbola Tijani, we welcome you. Engineer Efyong Okon, the Managing Director of Ano Gas Processing Company, we welcome you. And of course, some of the investors who are coming to take on the governor's offer of an investment haven. Lady Hu Yanghang, the chairman of Lianyang International Limited, a warm welcome to you as well. And Mr. Zhuang Wei of China Industrial Complex as well, we welcome you. Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm moving on now to our next Goodwill speaker. Our next speaker is a man who hears Africa's economic heartbeat clearly, rhythmically, and with purpose. He is one that has spent his career strengthening African trade, unlocking continental value chains, and building financial bridges that help industries reach global markets. One of his many accomplishments, serving at the helm of Africa's Import-Export Bank, is pushing to have a common payment system for Africa. He's both a scholar and a practitioner, a visionary and a leader, a champion of industrialization and export development. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming the highly celebrated, very successful president at Afrexim, now former Professor Benedict Oramah.
We are grateful, oh Lord, we are grateful, oh Lord, for all you have done for us. Imo State, we are grateful, oh Lord.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremony. I do not want to fall into the trap of attempting to go through all the protocols that have been enumerated here, but I must recognize a few people. And I would like to start with His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, ably represented by His Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We welcome you. Let me also recognize the President, the Prime Ministers, the Honorable Ministers, the Governors, Senators, members of the House of Representatives, the Commissioners, members of the Judiciary, traditional rulers, and all the business people who are here, distinguished business people and investors who have joined here, including bankers. In addition, I would like to recognize the former presidents and former prime ministers, former governors who are here. It took a lot for me to be here today, to abandon the spiritual tranquility offered by the soothing intermittent roar of the Caribbean Sea waves. Having completed my service at Afrexim Bank about a month ago, and having been offered a rare opportunity by the people and government of Barbados to visit and receive their highest national honor, the freedom of Barbados, last Sunday. My wife and I were not in a hurry to abandon the rejuvenation, the warm hospitality, and sheer beauty that Barbados offered. The Governor Odima's invitation was one I could not refuse. I considered the opportunity to deliver remarks at this important conference a privilege. I thank our dear brother, Governor Zodima, his government, and the people of Imo State for the high honor and respect. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my relationship with Governor Zodima evolved from avoidance to an embrace. That journey was not in the form of a quantum leap, but rather as a continuum of a series of events that built trust and confidence, such that today, Afrexim Bank is working very closely with Imo State in an integrated manner aimed at transforming Imo State into a global export, manufacturing, and trading hub. Afrexim Bank is building a multi-million-dollar world-class quality infrastructure near the airport for testing, inspection, and certification of oil and gas and petrochemical products, as well as agricultural products. This is one of 3 such projects Afrexim Bank is investing in Nigeria, one in Ogun State and the other in Kaduna State. This project will support the production and export of quality compliant products for export to the global markets. Afrexim Bank, working with Nexim Bank, supported the Nigerian Navy for a comprehensive mapping of Nigerian waterways for safe navigation, to make it easier for us to use our waterways to trade amongst ourselves and to export our goods. The Orashi River benefited from that mapping exercise, paving the way for Governor Uzodinma's audacious project of dredging the river to enable sea-going container vessels to berth in a port to be developed upriver at Oguta. Just as the Ruhr River in Germany opened up many German and Swiss industrial bases to the sea and fueled their global export dominance, the Orashi dredging project promises to open the Orashi Special Economic Zone to the Atlantic Ocean and also ease shipping to the commercial cities of Onitsha, Aba, and Nnewi. The Orashi River dredging and Special Economic Zone project are expected to cost about $1 billion initially, and open opportunities for investments amounting to tens of billions of dollars in areas such as the production of urea fertilizer, petroleum refining, ammonia production, and other gas-based petrochemicals. An adjoining special agro-processing zone will also attract significant investment in light manufacturers. Because these projects are transformational and will create jobs and wealth that will impact people far beyond the confines of Imo State, Afresibank provided, and I believe, as you will hear from the Executive Vice President of Afresibank, still provides support for them. My many years of experience in advising investors convinced me that the Orashi River Integrated Project can be an investor's paradise, underpinned by access to energy, sea logistics, enterprising people, and a supportive government that understands the value of business. As with other industrial parks and special economic zones, I believe that Afresibank will provide strong financing support, providing a suite of credit and guarantee products to make it easy for investors to protect themselves from country risk, from investment risk, and to access project finance and trade finance, so that in the Orashi Integrated Project, we have something for everyone. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, since I left office, my speaking engagements had focused on leadership. Allow me a few minutes to touch on that subject and to repeat what I had said elsewhere about leadership and the service of the people. In my opinion, leadership is the ability to vision, to strategize, and to execute. Leadership is not a title, certainly not a chieftaincy title, celebrated with flamboyant attires, red caps, and eulogizing songs. It is a call to serve with dignity, and that call can fall on anybody irrespective of his or her standing in the society. You do not need the beating of drums to ascend to that position. A true leader must prepare to abandon the luxuries of privilege and embrace the duty of sacrifice, to adorn the heart of courage, the audacity to act and assume responsibility for actions taken, to put the people first, as leadership is a call to serve and not an order to be served. I've gone to this length so that you can join me in reviewing Governor Uzodinma from those lengths. The Orashi River Dredging and Special Economic Zone project was an audacious vision. Conceptualizing and initiating its execution were courageous, people-centered leadership in action. Supporting that action, enabling that strategy so that before long, we can see the first container vessels built in Oguta, see the first grains of urea fertilizers spew out from a manufacturing plant, see the first gasoline drops from the oil refinery, and also witness massive investments from the likes of our dear brother, Mr. Aliko Dangote, and some others who have mentioned here, is our collective responsibility. If these do not happen, it will not be that Imo State government under Governor Zodima did not act. It will be because we failed to follow. Held back by the usual debilitating paralysis of the will, the poisonous tendency to emerge as our own worst enemies, destroying our future with reckless abandon like a bull in a china shop. I hope that this conference begins to reverse these characters, to restore our value of respect for work. Allow me to close by thanking the team at Orash Special Economic Zone Company. The lead organizers of this event is CEO Chioma, as well as Governor Zedima, his government, and the people of Imo State for this opportunity. I thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Professor Benedict Oramah, immediate past president of Afrexim Bank, reminding us of the partnership between Afrexim Bank and Imo State, one of those many bridges he built to help develop Africa in his 10 years in office at Afrexim. Please let's give him one more round of applause. Still acknowledging some of the progressive governors, acknowledge His Excellency Honorable May Boni, the Executive Governor of Yobe State. Your Excellency, a warm welcome to you. Thank you for joining us. Entrepreneurs, Managing Director and CEO, Fidelity Bank, Dr. Nneka Onyaligbe. Thank you very much for joining us. Mr. Uzoma Dozie, the founder and CEO of Sparkle Microfinance Bank. Thank you for joining us. Your Excellencies, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, for another a few minutes of goodwill, we're going over now to across this continent to welcome a biodiversity expert, one who in 2015 was elected as the first female president of our country, contributing to tremendous growth and development of her country. Please join me in welcoming this fellow of the African Academy of Sciences, an erudite scholar. A warm applause as we welcome Her Excellency Amina Gurib-Fakim, first female president of Mauritius, who served between 2015 and 18. Who can make the applause better, ladies and gentlemen?
Thy faithfulness. Great is thy faithfulness, morning by morning, your mercies I see. All I have needed, thou hast provided.
Good afternoon, Excellencies. President of the Republic of Nigeria, ably represented by the Deputy President, dignitaries, the former Secretary General of the United Nations, the former Prime Minister of Britain, and all guests present, all dignitaries present, I present to you greetings from sunny Mauritius. I will be very brief, but I would like to just start by making a small observation. You know, about 10 years ago, there was an article, a cover page of The Economist, it spoke about Africa as being the desperate continent. 10 years later, the headline changed. Africa, the rising continent. What changed in these 10 years? Because still, Africa has 25% of the disease burden of the world, still produces about 3 to 4% of the global GDP, has produced about 0.1% patent. So what has changed? What changed is that people have now realized that Africa sits on the world 30% reserve of the global reserve of minerals in the world. Africa has a young population. Africa is a continent of hope by the sheer virtue of the fact that Africa has risen. Africa has risen because Africa is laying the foundation for the youth of Africa to have hope. And this hope comes with the leadership. And I'm very happy that President Oramah has just mentioned this. Africa needs a leadership to take the youth by the hand into the current century and of course beyond. And one thing I will say as well, and I have mentioned the capitalization of the continent. We have said that Africa, if you look at the GDP of the entire continent, it is less than that of NVIDIA, which capitalizes at 5 trillion as we speak. So this is unacceptable. It's unacceptable for many reasons, and I think it is time that Africa takes her destiny in her hand. And if you look at a country like Nigeria, ladies and gentlemen, Nigeria, 1 in 5 African is Nigerian. And this will stand to rise because by 2050, 1 in 2 working age adults will be African. The 1 in 4 will be African, and by 2100, 1 in 2 will be African. And you can imagine in terms of demography what this represents in terms of potential. And Nigeria is a powerhouse. I have seen this country at work. I have seen the talent of the people. I have seen the energy in Lagos. I've seen the energy in Abuja. In all the places I've gone around Nigeria, it is a power hub in the making. And interestingly, we have got some of the richest and most entrepreneurs, interesting entrepreneurs coming out of this continent. We have seen, for example, the expansion of the Dangote group across Africa. So the hope is permitted, hope is allowed. And I have no reason to believe that this country of Nigeria will not do well in the future because Nigeria, just like Africa, Nigeria is rising. So I wish the country, the state of Imo, and rightly has been presented this morning by the governor in terms of everything that's going on. Having said this, I am very happy to bring my little part to this state by bringing in potential renewable energy. Africa can leapfrog into the future, just like countries in Asia did. And Africa can do that without having to invest too much in heavy infrastructure. But the lifeblood of any economy remains energy. So I will try and bring in some entrepreneur and some investment into this state because I think with the right energy, 24/7 have been initiated by the governor, it is possible to be able to make a difference. And so I will stop here. I wish the continent all the very best. And I'm sure there are many speakers who will also come and speak about what can be done, what will be done. But at the end of the day, it is all about leadership, it's about vision. And I think that all these ingredients are present here today to make this happen. Thank you so much.
A round of applause for Her Excellency. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for taking out time to be with us at this august occasion. The importance of today's event is marked by the dignitaries that we have in our presence. Today, everyone is in Owerri. May I quickly recognize the Minister of Budget and National Planning, Senator Abubakar Bagudu. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us today. We have the Minister of Industry and Trade, Senator Joseph Enoch. Thank you so much, sir. We also have the Minister of State for Labor, Right Honorable Nkiruka Oyejiocha. Thank you so much, sir, for being with us today. And also the Minister for Special Duties, Right Honorable Zephaniah Beatrice Jasalo. Thank you so much, sir. We also have in our midst captains of industry. My pleasure to also introduce Dr. Nneka Onyalipe, who's the Group MD of Fidelity Bank. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being with us today. We have Mr. Kanayo Awani, the Executive Vice President of Afri-Exim Bank, and Mr. Uzoma Dozie, Founder, CEO, Sparkle Microfinance Bank. So from Mauritius, we are quickly going to our West African brother, and I have the singular honor and profound pleasure to invite to the stage a distinguished African statesman whose life's journey embodies resilience, integrity, and unwavering commitment to national renewal. He's not only a champion of economic transformation, but a visionary leader dedicated to unlocking the full potential of his nation through disciplined governance, private sector growth, and inclusive government. With decades of service marked by humility, wisdom, and exemplary dedication, he continues to inspire a new era of hope and progress in West Africa. A steadfast believer in regional cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the President of Liberia, His Excellency Joseph Yuma Boakai Sr. His Excellency, sir.
Because he lives, we can face tomorrow. Because he lives, no fear is gone. Because I know he holds my future. My life is worth and live it just because he.
Good afternoon, please have your seats. May I recognize, representing the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Vice President, our host governor, Senator Hope Ozulima, our elder and traditional leaders, former Prime Minister of Great Britain, my old friend and brother, Ban Ki-moon of the UN, the honorable ministers of this great country, our distinguished captains of industry, investors and development partners, ladies and gentlemen. It is a profound honor to stand here in Imo State, the Eastern Heartland, a land of rich cultural heritage, a remarkable resilience, and tremendous promise. I bring you warm greetings from the government and people of Liberia, a nation which Imo shares many similarities, including our national colors, as reflected in both flags, comparable population size, and a strong resilience and reliance on agricultural production, particularly of palm oil. Allow me to begin by expressing my heartfelt appreciation to His Excellency, Senator Hope Ozulima, for the gracious invitation extended me. I am deeply humbled by your kind words about Liberia's progress under our leadership and by your recognition of our effort to restore integrity, strengthen institutions, and rebuild the foundation of our national development. For convening this important summit, Governor, allow me to recognize the critical role Nigeria played for us to be where we are today. We want to thank you very much. We remain grateful for your brotherly role. Your vision to unlock Imo State economic potential is both timely and essential. As the fourth richest state in Nigeria and the third highest on Human Development Index, Imo State is an inspiration. The theme of the summit, Unlocking Imo's Economic Potential, speaks directly to opportunities and challenges facing many African states today. Across the continent, we see a desire to transform natural blessings into tangible prosperity, to move from potential to productivity, and to shift from dependency to innovation-driven growth. Imo State is not alone in this quest. Liberia is on a similar path, as are many other neighboring states. As we reflect on the task before us, an African proverb reminds us that when spider webs unite, they can tie up a lion. This proverb teaches us that even the most complex challenges can be overcome when we work together. Partnership multiplies strength. Cooperation creates possibilities. Collective effort turns potential into progress. This summit embodies that truth. Partnership is key to sustainable progress. Collective effort is the foundation of a long-term transformation. If Imo State is fully unlocked, this economic potential, three pillars must guide our effort: partnership, investment, and innovation. Honorable Governor, Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, no society advances alone. No government succeeds in isolation. The greatest development stories in history were built on cooperation between the public sector, the private sector, and communities. Imo State has the opportunity to build a new alliance that bring together government, investors, researchers, entrepreneurs, and global partners within the shared framework of progress. For Liberia, partnership has been the backbone of our current transformation. Over the past year, we strengthened cooperation with regional partners, secured Liberia's election to the United Nations Security Council, and mobilized support for agricultural expansion, railway modernization, and institutional reform. These successes remind us that collaboration multiplies capacity. Let me touch on investment and innovation as they relate to the theme of gathering. Investment is the lifeblood of development. Without capital, ideas remain dreams. Without investors, potential remains unrealized. But investment must be smart, realistic, sustainable, and inclusive. It must empower local businesses, create decent jobs, and uplift communities. Imo State possesses abundant economic potential, from agriculture to energy, from manufacturing to services, from mining to tourism. The foundations are already here. The next step is to build a stable, predictable environment where investors feel confident committing their resources. This includes regulatory clarity, streamlined processes, transparency, and a commitment to fighting corruption. In Liberia, we have taken bold steps to restore fiscal discipline, eliminate ghost workers, strengthen procurement systems, and modernize financial governance. As a result, our national budget has exceeded $1 billion United States dollars just within 2 years, for the first time in Liberia's history, with 94% coming from domestic revenue source. This is a testament to what's possible when governance is strengthened. Imo State can similarly leverage reform-driven governance to attract credible investors. When institutions are strong, investors gain confidence. When processes are clear, investment grows. When the rule of law is upheld, the economy expands. In today's world, innovation is not a luxury. It is a necessity for survival and competitiveness. The countries, the regions that thrive in this century will be those who embrace digital transformation, promote entrepreneurship, expand research capacity, and train skilled, technologically run workforce. Innovation begins with a mindset, not machines. It begins with the belief that we, as Africans, can build, create, and lead. Imo State has one of the most vibrant youth population in Nigeria. Harnessing this demographic advantage by supporting innovation hubs, technology work, incubation centers, and research institutions will give Imo an edge in the global economy. In Liberia, we are investing in digital systems, education reform, renewable energy pilots, and new innovation program as part of our Arrest agenda. We believe that Africa's future will not be shaped by what it imports, but by what it invents, what it produces, and what it exports. Imo State is well positioned to lead in this area. With strong universities, disciplined society, energetic youth, and a culture of creativity, innovation can become the engine that drives Imo's transformation. In Africa, if Africa must progress, let elections don't just be peaceful, but they must bring about development dividend to those who elect them. The lives of the people must be improved. Shared lessons and a shared vision with Imo State. As I stand here today, I am reminded that Liberia and Imo have more in common than just geographic proximity in West Africa. We share a history of resilience. We share a desire for peace. We share commitment to good governance, and we share a belief that Africa can rise on its own terms through its own efforts. But Governor, your kind words about Liberia's progress, as contained in your letter, His Excellency's invitation to me, reflect only our achievement, but also our shared values, our cultural reforms, and infrastructure development, healthcare improvement, anti-corruption efforts, institutional strengthening are just not Liberia's goals. They are African goals. They are Imo State goals. Our elevation to a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council is not only an honor for Liberia, it is an honor for Africa as well. It is also a reminder that African nations can play constructive roles in shaping global stability and post-conflict recovery. I believe Imo State and Liberia can collaborate in this area, building stronger regional alliances based on peace, development, and democratic governance. I want to conclude by saying that unlocking Imo's economic potential is not just an economic challenge. It is leadership, governance, and collective responsibility. When partnership is strong, progress becomes possible. When investment is responsible, industries take shape. When innovation is encouraged, society transforms. Mr. Governor, I want to congratulate the government and the people of Imo State for hosting this important summit. I applaud your efforts to chart a new path for your economy and your people. And I'm proud to notice the number of people that have attended this. I want to congratulate you, and I want to assure you that Liberia stands ready to strengthen cooperation, deepen challenges, and explore opportunities for our mutual growth. Like Liberia, Imo State is rising. Nigeria is rising. Africa is rising. May God bless Imo State. May God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. May God bless the Republic of Liberia. And may God bless our beloved continent in Africa. And I want to thank you for this opportunity. God bless you.
Your Excellency, the President of Liberia, may God bless you too. Thank you very much. And I totally agree with you that there's a very wonderful regional partnership and cooperation between your people, the Liberians, and Nigerians, and particularly Imo State. Partnership that is steeped in our cultural heritage, partnership that derives from our cultural heritage. I'd like to thank you very much. Let me welcome here Sir Jude Agbaso, the former Deputy Governor of Imo State. Let me also welcome the Managing Director and CEO, First Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Olusegun Alebioshu. I welcome you. And also here is the Permanent Secretary, Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Dr. Morris Mberi, FCA, OON, Ikukwoma Isu Asian Clan. I welcome you, Dr. Mberi. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome here Africa's richest man. The man that, as he's stepping forward, I'm very sure is coming to make a commitment with regards to investment in Imo State. With his refinery, petroleum is no more a problem in Nigeria. In fact, when he stands, it's almost like government. Let me welcome here the president of the Dangote Group, Alhaji Aliko Dangote GCFR.
Your Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, ably represented by His Excellency, the Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator. Hello? Can you hear me? Senator Kashim, Your Excellency, the Governor of Imo State. I think, can you give me another microphone? I don't know if you can hear me. Okay. It's okay? All right. The Governor of Imo State, my friend, Governor Hope Uzodimma, and his lovely wife. The Minister, Honorable Minister of Finance, and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, the President of Liberia, who graciously accepted to be here, the former Prime Minister of United Kingdom, Honorable Boris Johnson, other distinguished ladies, our governors that are here, our senators, former chairman of APC and my former governor also, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to stand on the existing protocol that's already been established. Mr. Governor, you invited me yesterday. You didn't tell me to come and make a speech, so I will charge you for making a small speech. Even though really we've been together for a very, very long time, we've been, good young people in Lagos for a very, very long time, so he's been a friend for a very, very long time. But I must really congratulate you for, first of all, dragging His Excellency, the President, ably represented by the Vice President Kashim Shettima. He is also from our side. He's been an entrepreneur, and he is actually the one that has been also encouraging, pushing us to invest at home, not to invest outside Nigeria. Mr. Vice President, thank you very much for encouraging us, for reminding us that it's nowhere like home. What I want to say here is that, Mr. Governor, that very, very, very good policies, bold policies that actually the government has taken today. The exchange rate, the removal of the fuel subsidy, so many other things that the government has actually, put out there. But Nigeria is like a scratch card. You only see the good of it when you scratch the card. So some of us that we have already scratched the card, we are seeing the results. We must really thank Mr. President for his leadership. We must thank the government for bringing out these policies. And I'm sure there are so many other policies that they are going to roll this in. But one advice that I have is that most of our own entrepreneurs, please invest at home. What attracts some of us is the good governance, rule of law, good policies that the government has actually put down right there. And you can see that there's actually nothing that is impossible. So our job is to keep investing at home. If we don't invest at home, there is nobody on earth that will come and invest here. What attracts foreign investor is a domestic investor. And that's what we are doing. I mean, it's just like what I said even yesterday. I was being sort of interviewed by CNN, and they asked me, so, I mean, you have actually been investing. Why did you announce to double up your refinery to make it the largest refinery in the world by doubling already what you have, which is 650,000? I said, well, I don't have anywhere to go and invest but at home. When I say at home, I mean Nigeria and Africa. There are so many potentials that we have, mineral resources. You heard that Africa has actually about 30% of the world's minerals. So there are a lot of people that are fighting, trying to get these minerals. If now we don't really lead the way in putting up this investment, who do we expect to come and invest? We can never ever really convince anybody to come and invest in our continent. We must be the ones that will lead. And we are doing that, we are taking that leadership to make sure that people do come here and invest heavily. To create prosperity, we must do that. One of the things that I was looking at the brochure, Excellency, I must thank you for having the 378 megawatts of power, because there can never be growth, there can never be prosperity without power. You have to have electricity to be able to create growth, and you have done that. So congratulations. But there are more to come. Like what I said, Excellency, you tell me which is the best area for us to invest. We are investors, and I can tell you in the next 3 years, the program that we have in the Dangote group, we're investing heavily in fertilizer. We are actually going to become the number one fertilizer plant in the world by 2028. We're moving from 3 million tons of urea to 12 million tons of urea. So we will actually beat the number one today. The refinery will be at 1.4 million barrels per day. 1.4 million barrels per day has actually never been done in the world. It is only 1.25 that's done by Reliance. Will be bigger than Reliance. We have petrochemical 2.4 million tons. That one, all these ones that I'm counting were actually launched on the 11th of December. No, 11th of December. We will make it happen. We'll make Africa, we'll make Nigeria and Africa proud. We are doing quite a lot of distribution network within Southern and Eastern Africa to make sure that, yes, we feed them with fertilizer, we feed them with the refinery. We are looking at other areas in Zambia. We are trying to do a copper refinery. All these things will come, and to tell you the truth, by this our investment, we have so many people that are asking us, can we come and partner with you? And that's what we are looking for. We are not enough. We cannot actually build our own economy by ourselves. But with the current policies that we have, with people see that we're investing, they are going to join us, and we will come here and invest. We will be one of your biggest investors in Imo. So please tell me which area you want us to invest. We'll invest. Thank you very much.
Now, Your Excellency, you can take that to the bank. He said he will come here and be one of your biggest investors. And every word he says is backed with sincerity. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me quickly welcome Barrister Vera Safia Ndanusa, MD CEO, International Trade Fair Complex Management Board, Alhaji Baranga Jada Usman, MD Oil and Gas Free Zones Authority, Mr. Abba Bello, MD Nexim Bank, Princess Omotola Omole, President, ECOWAS Business Women, Nigeria. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker was the 8th Secretary General of the United Nations, 2007 to 2017. But before then, he was Minister for Foreign Affairs and Trade in Korea. At the United Nations, he spearheaded the Sustainable Development Goals, the Paris Climate Agreement, creating the UN Women, strengthening UN peace keeping and humanitarian efforts, promoted women's rights, addressed issues like Ebola epidemic and nuclear proliferation. Is indeed a global citizen who focuses and mobilizes leaders around a set of new global challenges. And we're very happy in Imo State to have this 81-year-old man that looks 35. Please welcome here the 8th UN Secretary General, His Excellency Ban Ki-moon.
Your Excellency, President Bola Ahmed of Nigeria, Senator Hope Uzodinma, Governor of Imo State, distinguished heads of state and government, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to skip all distinguished leaders' names because so many people have recognized them. Just to time shake, please excuse me, all the protocols are observed. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to join you today at the Imo State Economic Summit 2025 and deliver these remarks on unlocking Imo's economic potential, partnership, investment, and innovation. And it is my privilege to speak to all of you at such an important juncture as we strive to advance growth, expand climate action, achieve sustainable development, build peace, and empower women and global citizen leaders to forge a sustainable and prosperous future for all people and our planet. My gratitude goes to the Honorable Hope Uzodinma, Governor of Imo State, for his leadership and also inviting me to speak at the same time. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this is a time of great significance for taking climate action and accelerating achievement of the UN Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, through cooperation and partnership. Before entering the substance, I have the pleasure to talk to you about Ms. Amina Mohammed, a Nigerian diplomat and a politician who is serving now as UN Deputy Secretary General and number 2 person within the United Nations system. Initially, I'm not boasting myself, it was I who picked her up while serving as a Secretary General. And I'm very pleased to tell you that my decision was the right decision. And let us give a big applause. Thank you. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, actually, we are living in an unprecedented era of multiple crises and elevated uncertainty. Great power rivalry is intensifying, particularly between the United States and China, and the bloody wars in Ukraine and Gaza represent one of the most dangerous moments for global security in decades, with a profound humanitarian impact. At the same time, most serious and worrisome is to humanity is that our planet Earth, is on fire, virtually, both literally and figuratively, So the climate crisis is deepening with the surging temperatures, burning wildfires, and raging floods. Global crises such as conflict, pandemics, and climate change have showed us how much we are interconnected. They also make it clear that we need global solutions in response, and such solutions must be rooted in partnership, global partnership, and inclusivity. Today, I'll speak to you about how we can advance in this era of global uncertainty and security. But we must, at the same time, all play our part in this process, particularly dynamic African leaders. I visited Nigeria several times before. My visit to Imo State today reminds me of enormous sufferings and difficulties that African people, particularly people in Imo State, should have overcome because of colonization and subsequent war, as the Korean people did. Surmounting is a painful and turbulent history. Africa today holds the keys to unlocking so many solutions to current global challenges that humanity and our planet are facing, including climate change and UN Sustainable Development Goals. And I have also tirelessly advocated for climate adaptation and resilience in Africa, including through my active participation and strong support at important events, including Africa Climate Summit. In this regard, while serving as a Secretary General, I have been repeatedly stating that without addressing the African challenges, we will never be able to declare that we are living in a sustainable world. This commitment is still continuing. I'm speaking out as former Secretary General. Ladies and gentlemen, the climate crisis is here and now, so we must elevate action and political will to cut carbon emissions, enhance climate adaptation, and implement the Paris Climate Change Agreement adopted 10 years ago on December 12, 2015. The Paris Climate Change Agreement still provides us with our best hope to persevere over the dire climate threat to the Earth. The global response remains critical. We must resist the temptation to backpedal toward fossil fuels and instead accelerate the green transition. This is particularly important following the most recent COP30 UN climate conference held in Belém, Brazil, just recently, where regrettably, due to the lack of consensus, fossil fuel-related expressions were removed from the outcome document. We especially need enhanced initiative and effort for the spheres of climate mitigation, adaptation, and finance to implement the UN global goals, limit temperature rise, preserve biodiversity, and protect our planet. And every every fraction of a degree matters greatly. However, when the United States left the Paris Climate Change Agreement in 2017 and later rejoined during the time of President Biden, however, President Trump had decided during his second term to withdraw from the Paris Climate Change Agreement. This is very regrettable. Ladies and gentlemen, the 10 hottest years of globally recorded temperature have all occurred over the last decades, and WMO, World Meteorological Organization, said that last year, 2024, was the first year to exceed 1.5 degrees Celsius, which means 1.55 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. Therefore, unless we act swiftly to cool the earth, we will face a chain of crises that shall threaten lives and livelihoods across every continent and ocean. Scientists warn of rapid sea level rise, shrinking habitable land. There are not distant myths, but rather immediate realities. At the heart of such action, we must drastically slash the planet's carbon emissions on the road to net zero emission by 2050 and ensure a just transition for all. This will address energy shortages, improve human well-being, and catalyze cooperation, and Africa and its people, private sectors, and civil societies could and should play a very important, vital role. With this in mind, I believe that robust multilateral action underpinned by partnership, solidarity, and cooperation must steer our responses forward. It is critical that we strive to realize net zero targets, and to do so, we must turn existing international commitments into decisive action. In this regard, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to point out that support for the most vulnerable is falling short, and expanded conflict and trade volatilities are hindering progress. As such, I call the full operationalization of the Loss and Damage Fund for developing countries, and the COP30 Belém packages includes an expression to establish a dialogue practices on the Loss and Damage Fund. This means discussions including how we can scale up support will continue on the formal UN processes in the future. The fact is that low-income countries, including most of the African nations, have contributed the least to today's climate crisis, but they are being disproportionately impacted. I have found, according to statistics, 54 African states emit just 4% in global field, in global emission, just 4%, while China, one country, produces 22 or 24%, United States 12%, European Union 8%, 26 European countries, they're all industrial countries, but produce only 8%. Now Africa, 54 member states, you emit just 4% all. Therefore, I think it is very much unfair when Africa, without emitting too much, then are suffering most seriously. Therefore, there should be a fund technology support for African leaders. Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, a just, prosperous, and equitable transition from fossil fuel to green energy is critical to avoid the worst of the climate impact and realize the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Indeed, accelerating the green transition is the most crucial way to combat climate change. Doing so can provide a viable pathway for sustainable development, including the eradication of poverty and hunger without further degradation to our ailing planet. But this is not incompatible with the economic growth. In fact, such efforts must go hand in hand so we can expand sustainability, inclusivity, and prosperity for all. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, now let me turn to the UN SDGs, which were adopted by 193 member states in New York on September 25, 2015. These SDGs, as well as the Paris Climate Change Agreement, were all adopted in the year of 2015. It was exactly 10 years ago. So United Nations has established historic milestone. The problem is that member states are not actively implementing these two very important visions adopted by the global leaders. The SDG provides humanity and our planet with the collaborative blueprint to ensure that the future we want. I am asking many people, what kind of a future do you want? What kind of future do you want to leave to your sons and daughters, succeeding generations? Therefore, not only leaders, political leaders, but civil society, business leaders, you have moral duties and political duties to make sure that our succeeding generations will live without any fear of climate change issues. Despite this, we must keep moving forward together and transformational SDG implementation. In this connection, the 2025 UN Sustainable Development Report calls for action in 6 priority areas. Number one, food systems. Number 2, energy access. Number 3, digital transformation. Number 4, education. 5, jobs, decent jobs. And number 6, social protection and climate and biodiversity. Sustainability and climate agenda are closely aligned with the future directions of Imo State's socio-economic development, as opportunities in energy diversification, artificial intelligence, renewables, ICT, and ESG, environment, social, and governance, will be plentiful alongside challenges. Indeed, we are currently undergoing an incredible global digital transformation, further expedited by the COVID-19 pandemic and AI, artificial intelligence advances, and Africa is no exception. Ladies and gentlemen, as UN Secretary General, I devoted much of my time and energy to advancing the rights of women around the world and fighting for gender equality. From my very first day at the UN to my last, this was my guiding priority. I am urging political leaders, please give more opportunities, decent jobs, and participation in the government, in decision-making. Women should be given equal opportunities. If not at this time, then thank you. Why don't you applaud for women's empowerment? Ladies and gentlemen, together with women and girls, active engagement and empowerment of youth is also critical to ensure the success of the global community. Consider the fact that young people and women comprise at least 75% of global population. Then it is only right that they should be given more opportunities, if not more, at least equal opportunities. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, let me speak about global citizens, global citizenship. This is an important concept that can serve as a unique tool to help solve some of our most pressing challenges and assist us in reaching our global goals. Global citizens are those who identify themselves not only as a member of the nation, but also as a member of the humanity of the world. The national boundaries are not important at this time. Practically, there are no national boundaries. You can travel all the places without any hindrance. During my time as a young boy, there were a lot of restrictions, but this means the women, girls, and men, they are all global citizens. You may be proud of being Nigerian or Korean, Americans, or some other countries, but this nationality does not mean much at this time. We are all global citizens. We are all together. So I hope the particular leaders, political leaders participating in this meeting would give much more to women and young people who will soon become our leaders of the society. And in order to establish long-term solutions, global solutions, we need inclusive and participatory action, including global citizens, especially those throughout Africa, as an essential ingredient to make good on the power of partnership. For these reasons, I have been trying my best to help create global citizenship as a driving vision for all people around the world. And I urge all of you, distinguished guests, to move forward in your lives, careers, and outlook as a global citizen. At the same time, global citizenship and the values it entails are essential for nurturing strong and empathetic leaders at all levels. Now, more than ever, we must light a bright new pathway to confront the great challenges we are facing today. As such, it is essential that we join together to elevate climate action, accelerate progress on the UN global goals, and cultivate global citizenship all around the world. And key stakeholders are absolutely indispensable for such collective global efforts. And also, we need to strengthen partnership. Without partnership, you cannot do anything. That's why number 17, the last goal of Sustainable Development Goals, is global partnership. when you are strengthening your global partnership, I think we can resolve all these issues. So, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking everyone to pursue this long-term vision of global citizenship based on global partnership. Everyone has a moral responsibility to act wherever they may be, and anyone can lead with a purpose. But dynamic stakeholders operating locally are uniquely positioned to help elevate prosperity, boost sustainability, and lead our common future to new heights. In fact, global citizenship is perfectly aligned with the guiding missions of this year's summit to, I quote, transform Imo State into a competitive investment destinations, a hub of innovation and a model for sustainable development in Nigeria and across Africa, unquote. Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude. Unfortunately, the challenges we are facing now are unprecedented. Therefore, our response must also be equally unprecedented. Please collaborate across borders and seas and generations and cultures and religions. This will boost sustainability and expand economic growth in an increasingly divisive world. We can and should create the future we want. This is a bright future that is anchored in prosperity, sustainability, and empowerment for all. But we must remember that current challenges are simply too enormous to be left in the hands of a few leaders. All of us have worked together in solidarity and partnership. Your role is more vital than ever as right holders. Excellencies, let us work together. There is not a single country, single individual, whether president, prime minister, or country-wise, United States, European Union. They are resourceful, very powerful, but there is not a single country, single individual in this world who can do it alone. We must join all our hands on the deck together. That's the hard lessons which I have learned while serving as a Secretary General of the United Nations. So, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I appeal to you, let us be global citizens. With the global citizenship, just transcend national borders and work to make this global earth and humanity prosperous and sustainable. That's your political responsibility. For me now, I have only moral responsibility. When political responsibility, moral responsibility combined, I think we can really achieve a better world for our succeeding generations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, the Secretary General, Mr. Ban Ki-moon. Thank you very much. He has emphasized the importance of global citizenship and partnership. Very, very important. I'm sure, Mr. Ban Ki-moon, you can now check off coming to Imo State from your bucket list. You've been here. In the history of this wonderful state, I don't think we've seen this gathering of global citizens, this gathering of who is who in global politics and business, all under one roof. Please, a big round of applause for His Excellency, our Governor, for making it happen. Thank you very much, Senator Hope Uzodimma. It will be an anomaly if we round up this event today without recognizing the presence of the national chairman of the ruling party, the APC. Please let me recognize especially Professor Nentawa Ilwata. Please, a round of applause. I know he arrived here in company of His Excellencies Alhaji Mahmoud Aliyu Shinkafi, the former governor of Zamfara State, His Excellency Silas Agara, the former deputy governor of Nasarawa State, His Excellency Alhaji Abdulkarimiji Ahmed Mohamed Ketso, the former deputy governor of Niger State, Professor Kana, senior advocate of Nigeria, the deputy national secretary of the APC, and of course, Dr. Sam Puna. Thank you very much for coming. We also have, when you have a gathering like this, you must have a representation of the members of the National Assembly. I know that seated somewhere in this building today, we have Senator Jarigbe Agom Jarigbe, Senator Osita Izunaso, Senator Patrick Mwabeze, Senator Onyewuchi Ezenwa. Please, a round of applause for distinguished senators. And of course, Right Honorable Wase and Honorable Henry Nwawuba. We will welcome you all. The Executive Director, Zenibank PLC, Mr. Louis Odom, and of course the President, Graphics Companies Limited, High Chief John Bosco Zigbo, and the Group Managing Director of Multinet, Dr. Ozomo Obiyo. Thank you very much all for honoring this invitation and being here. It's indeed a day of great history in Imo State. Without wasting further time, Your Excellencies, when on October 1st of 1960, the British lowered the Union Jack and hoisted the green, white, green, it marked the end of British administration in Nigeria, but the beginning of a different kind of relationship. Today we are privileged to have in the building someone I will call the most colorful individual in British politics. He successfully navigated a revised withdrawal agreement with the European Union, what we know as AKA Brexit. He led the Conservative Party to a landslide victory in December of 2019, winning their largest majority in the House of Commons since 1987. Your Excellencies, his government oversaw the fastest and most successful initial vaccine rollout in the world during the COVID-19 pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you already know who I'm talking about. Former Member of Parliament, second Mayor of the City of London, former Foreign Secretary, and former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Right Honorable Mr. Alexander Boris Johnson. You're welcome, sir. Please a big round of applause.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much, everybody. It's great pleasure. Can you hear me? Can you hear me really well? It's fantastic to be here. Your Excellency, Mr. President, ably represented by the Vice President, distinguished Governor, Senator Hope, Uzodinma, all other distinguished guests, Prime Ministers, Presidents, ex-Prime Ministers, politicians of all kinds. Governor Hope, you've been too successful in your summit today. I can't recognize everybody. I simply can't. I wouldn't do justice to the stellar cast that you have assembled. But as soon as I was told there was a chance of coming to Imo State, as soon as I was told there was a chance of coming to Owerri, I was so excited. And I wanted to come. And I was very fascinated. This is a true story. 2 days ago, I was in the Gulf. I won't say which city it was, but it was a conference about investment, about global investment. And there were some huge high rollers there, some big players. I'm not saying as rich as some of the people in this room, because there's some very rich people in this room. But there was one particular guy who had tens of billions, many tens of billions of dollars. I was sitting next to him. And he was telling me he had so many homes in Malibu now, he can't even, he has not enough family to put in them. They're empty. He has so many private jets that he flies with 2 jets at a time, wherever he goes. 2 private jets because, one of them might break down or the other one might run out of peanuts in the minibar or whatever. He has 2. Anyway, this guy's astonishingly successful. Brilliant global investor, tens of billions, American. and everybody was listening to what he had to say. Like the scene in Trading Places, you remember when they're all waiting to hear what Eddie Murphy is going to say the next stock is. We were waiting to hear what he had to say about the future. And we said, where is the country? And is this serious? We said, where is the country that you regard as the most exciting investment prospect? And he said, is what he said, I tell you what it is, it's going to be overtaking China, because I've been looking at the numbers. It's got the most dynamic population of virtually any country on earth, and the answer is, of course, Nigeria. It's true. It's exactly what he said. And he gave us all, he gave the whole room, an astonishing statistic. Do you know this? This year in Nigeria, there are 8 million babies being born, or have been born 8 million babies, exactly the same number as there are born this year in China. Think of that, my friends. Think of what that means for the trajectory of this country. We're talking about phenomenal growth, phenomenal development potential. But I am here to tell you that having children alone is not the answer. My friends, I have 9 children, which is by United Kingdom standards quite a lot, right? A lot. And we're working on it. My wife and I are trying to get to the root cause of the phenomenon. We're having an inquiry into how it all happened. But it's very expensive. And it's economically draining. And so it's very, very important that you attract investment and that you have an economic vision for the future of the kind that Governor Uzodimma plainly has. And if Nigeria is going to achieve its potential, you are completely right. And if we're going to find jobs for those hundreds of millions of kids, then you're completely right that you have to focus on all the things that we've been rightly talking about this morning. And yeah, well, I think it helps that Nigeria is blessed. This Imo State is blessed with, I think I heard correctly, some of the biggest oil and gas reserves in West Africa. Is that right? Fantastic. You're blessed. And I think it's very, very good that you have such high levels of literacy. That's a fantastic. Congratulations to everybody involved in that. I've got to tell you, there are parts of Africa, sadly, where, you know, female illiteracy is still running at more than 50%, right? But here, thank you, congratulations. It's very, to unleash the potential, I think what the former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon said was completely right. To unleash the potential of this whole continent, every girl in Africa has got to get access to the same education as every boy. Number one. It helps, by the way, that you have the rule of law. The rule of law. I want you to know that when I decided to come to Owerri, I read some stuff, and there were people who were saying, there were maybe some security problems in Nigeria. Have you heard that? And I said, well, I'm going to go anyway. And let me ask you, do you feel safe today here at the Carnival Conference? Yes, we all feel safe. I feel perfectly safe. Thank you, Governor Ho, for what you're doing. The rule of law, safety on the street, absolutely critical. Infrastructure. I was so interested in what you had to say about dredging the river, the roads. The airport was fantastic, wasn't it? Absolutely fantastic. But your focus on electricity is completely right. What is the future? It is AI. It's going to be AI. It's artificial intelligence, and the demand for clean, sustainable electricity because of AI is going to be colossal. And so I congratulate you on what you're doing to get clean, sustainable energy for Imo State and for the whole of Nigeria. And I hope, by the way, very much that British firms will see the opportunity here, as the Mauritian former president rightly added. It's a very, very important opportunity. But there are, of course, some things where Nigeria and Imo State actually in particular have a head start. That's the sheer entrepreneurial flair of the population. which is famous for around the whole world. And then there's a final ingredient. I'm going to be very, very brief, but I think we all know what I'm going. Well, you all know what I'm going to say. And there's a final thing that I think helps Nigeria, and indeed greatly helps my own country. And I saw the legacy this morning in my hotel in Lagos when I had to try to plug in my laptop, because you have the same plugs, the 3-point British plug, which is a legacy of our former relationship. And of course you have the language. I will say nothing of those former colonies of France, but it's wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful that here in Nigeria we are united. We have this huge blessing of ties of history and language, and woven together constantly by the toing and froing of brilliant Nigerians to my country and back again, and British people coming to Nigeria. And of course, look, I'm proud, very proud, of what we export to Nigeria. We send you pharmaceuticals and bankers and services of all kinds, automotive parts, all sorts of things. We send whiskey, huge quantities of whiskey, probably more popular somewhere than another. We send, and you send us so much in return: oil and gas, Nollywood movies, brilliant doctors, nurses, technicians, tech geniuses from Nigeria come to the UK, and we're very grateful. We're very, very, very grateful and honoured. And we send you, former United Kingdom Prime Ministers, and you send us, future United Kingdom Prime Ministers, in the form of Kemi Badenoch, who comes from Nigeria and is doing better and better these days. And I think the greatest hope that we have, and not just the exports or the imports, it's the things that we actually do together, the things that we do in partnership. And there's just so much. A Nigerian singer who stole the show in the recent coronation of our king, the Nigerian football players who have millions, if not billions, of fans in the Premier League and who have admirers around the world. Nigerian artists, there's a huge Nigerian show on right now at Tate Modern. Anglo-Nigerian films that are being nominated for the Oscars. And of course, the famous, I've tried it myself, in Lagos, there's a famous Nigerian brand of Guinness. You know what I mean by Guinness? But there's a Nigerian Guinness brewed here in Lagos. I drank a lot of it, and it was a great mistake, because it's like twice or 3 times the strength of normal Guinness. Did you know that? It's unbelievable. And when you wake up in the morning after a night of Nigerian Guinness, it feels like you've been hit by Anthony Joshua, whose punch, ladies and gentlemen, is, as the good book says, one of those things that it is more blessed to give than to receive. And you have a terrible sense of the power of this Anglo-Nigerian brand. And think of it, I think Anthony Joshua's success, his strength, his power, that symbolizes for me what I mean by Anglo-Nigerian achievement. He's not Nigerian, he's not British, he's somehow, he's both. And he's the best in the world. And that's an absolutely fantastic testament, to my mind, of what our partnership can achieve. So look, folks, I look at this wonderful conference, this summit, and I see the energy in the room, I feel it, and I know it's going to be a tremendous success. Investment makes opportunity. IMO. In my opinion, IMO. In my opinion, the Imo State has an absolutely fantastic future. And I think that Nigeria's great days lie ahead of it. The Imo State's great days lie ahead of it. And I think the great days of the historic friendship partnership, love affair between Britain and Nigeria also lie ahead of us. Thank you all very, very much for the kindness you've done me in inviting me along today, and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your summit. And you may now play your vuvuzelas or whatever it was that I heard earlier on. Thank you.
Please make the applause louder for the former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, His Excellency, Mr. Boris Johnson. Thank you for your words of encouragement. Thank you for the spirit of collaboration. And of course, the bottle of Guinness and Stout, which you've all said we should perhaps not forget to take today. Thank you very much, sir, for your hand of partnership to the country. Just quick acknowledgements. We want to most graciously, warmly welcome again and acknowledge His Excellency the Prime Minister of Sao Tome and Principe. Please a round of applause again for His Excellency Prime Minister Aliko Dangote. Please a round of applause. We also want to acknowledge Chief Tony Chukwu. Thank you very much for gracing us with your presence. Alhaji Shehu Aliyu, ED, Public Sector, First Bank is here with us. Former Hanese leader, Chief Ozizi Chukwu is also here. Thank you very much. Chief Olusametu is also here, a political chieftain. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I've been here at least since this event started, or even before this event started. And it's indeed a historic convergence of leaders, business icons, because anywhere there's business and money, trust me, that's where I look around, and perhaps that's why I got the invitation. And we have industry heavyweights. And I must say, this is the first ever economic summit since the history of the state. Please, a round of applause. Just like His Excellency Mr. Boris Johnson said earlier on, indeed such a stellar cast that we have in the room. So please, can we give another resounding warm round of applause for our host, the Governor of Imo State, Senator Hope Uzodimma, who reiterated earlier that Imo State is ready for business and investment with one of the most compelling assets, because I do feel that the most compelling asset of any nation, of any country, of any state is the people. After the people, Imo State, of course, has this immense hydrocarbon wealth. His Excellency Senator Hope Uzodimma is looking to attract investment and gains of billions of dollars to the state, of course, from this summit. So please open up your wallets. And let me at this point warmly acknowledge and thank the summit partners and all of you that have actually collaborated with the states, putting the summit together with your wonderful insignias around the venue and exhibition booths. We graciously acknowledge you. Thank you all to our partners. As the African proverb goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Even as exemplified earlier on by Alhaji Aliko Dangote, the founder and president of Dangote Group, he said he's bringing out an open check to His Excellency Senator Hope Uzodimma, and indeed, Imolite, that Dangote Group is ready to invest in any area. So, Your Excellency, just say the word. The governor, just say the word and it is done by Mr. Aliko Dangote. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, every generation of leaders faces a moment that tests vision, that tests courage, and the ability to imagine a future than today's challenges. Imo State today stands at a defining moment, and that moment is indeed now. Today's conversations are not just about economic indicators, like I say all the time. They are about charting a bold new trajectory for prosperity, for competitiveness and inclusive growth in Imo State, the region, and indeed our nation. To help us situate Imo State ambitions within the broader national development, we are honored to welcome a leader whose voice carries both clarity and conviction. A man whose deep understanding of Nigeria's economic realities is matched only by his unwavering commitment to driving transformation. His journey from the quiet streets of Maiduguri to the commanding heights of national leadership has been defined by resilience, clarity, and purpose. Please, a round of applause. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, for His Excellency Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, ably represented by the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON, to deliver his address. And just a quick reminder that after his address, there will be photo sessions. So please, a round of applause. Let's rise as we welcome His Excellency, the Vice President.
Kindly take your seats, please, kindly. Your Excellency Joseph Nyuma Boakai, President of Liberia, the Prime Minister of Sao Tome and Principe, Americo Oliveira de Ramos, the Prime Minister of Mauritius, Nadine Rangolam, our Chief Host, Onwandi Bo Senator Hope Odidika Uzodimma, and his beautiful wife, Barrister Chioma Uzodimma. Excellencies, our governors of Ondo, of Ekiti, of Edo, and of course of Yobe states. The former Prime Minister of the UK, the mercurial Boris Johnson. His biographer, Noma Puriel, described that his hair has become his signature force. He is using it to disarm the public. But he is actually a very focused and watchful gentleman, an extremely brilliant person who went to some of the best schools in the UK. Amina Gurib-Fakim, former president of Mauritius, the former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, who has done so much for Africa. Thank you so much. You masterminded the appointment of our sister Amina Mohammed. You introduced her to the global stage, and she subsequently became the UN Deputy Secretary General. The national chairman of our great party, Professor Nintawe Goshua Yilwada, and his immediate predecessor, Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, and the leadership of the party, the Deputy Governor of Imo State, Lady Chinyere Ekomaru, and her husband, my very good friend, Barrister Chukuma Ekomaru, SAN. I crave your indulgence, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to weaponize Senator Osita Izunaso and Senator Jarike, Honorable Professor Julius Eombare, the leader of the House, and the Speaker of the Imo State House of Assembly, to recognize and appreciate all members of the National Assembly and Imo State House of Assembly present here. I also wish to use the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Mr. Wale Edun, and the Secretary of the Imo State Government, Chief Cosmos Iwu, as my points of reference to recognize and appreciate my colleagues in the Federal Executive Council and members of the Imo State Executive Council, the Acting Chief Judge of Imo State, and I would like to use the Oni of Ife, His Majesty Obade Enitan Ogunwusi Ojaja II, the Chairman of Imo State and Southeast Council of Traditional Rulers, His Royal Highness Eze Dr. Isi Okeke CFR, and the Esunufe Alhaji Dr. Yahaya Abubakar CFR, to recognize and appreciate all our eminent traditional rulers present here. The Archbishop of the Anglican Communion, Archbishop David Onoha, the Catholic Bishop of Olu, Bishop Augustine Ukwoma, the President of the Christian Association of Nigeria, Reverend Dr. Uzoesi, and all members of the clergy. Professor Ben Oramah is absent, but I wish to acknowledge
and other leading lights of the technocracy and the business community, Olusegun Alebiosu is my point of reference. He is the MD of Pace Bank, to recognize and appreciate all our chieftains in the banking industry. Distinguished Imo leaders, stakeholders, and dignitaries, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. The last time I was in Owerri for the plaque-up of the 2025 Hajj exercise, I described him as the goalkeeper, defender, the midfielder, ambitious attacker in the mold of Victor Osimhen of the APC. Little wonder that Mr. President has appointed Governor Hope Uzodimma, the hope of the nation, as the #1 ambassador of the renewed hope agenda. And today, like the man of many parts and capacities that he exemplifies, he has, as a luminary, economic strategist, transformational leader, sage, and visionary governor, gathered us in this beautiful southeastern state of Imo for the Imo State Economic Summit. Governor Hope Odidika Uzodimma, I doff my hat for you. Nations do not rise because one corner of the map ascends, while others remain dormant. Nations rise when every part of it discovers its promise, nurtures its strength, and takes responsibility for its own economic direction. This is the spirit that has animated the economic summits taking place across the country. It is the conviction that each state holds a piece of the puzzle that completes the grand picture of our national development. This is why I'm genuinely excited to share this moment with you today. The promise of Imo State's prospects and potentials are unmistakable, and the opportunities ahead should command our collective attention. There is no greater accelerator of national growth than the deliberate effort to steer each state towards its areas of absolute and comparative advantage. We have all come to terms with the fact that it is not enough for states to seek alignment with national aspirations for sustainable growth and global competitiveness, unless it is matched with ambition. It must be complemented by opportunities that speak for themselves. This is the significance of our theme today, unlocking Imo's economic potential, partnership, investment, and innovation. It invites us to prepare for better days ahead. It reminds us that this summit arrives at the most strategic moment when His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has introduced far-reaching reforms designed to ensure long-term stability for businesses and to anchor prosperity that endures across generations. The promise of Imo State is, I must emphasize, should be the promise of abundance. Even without stretching our imagination, we can see tremendous opportunities in high-growth sectors waiting to be explored. We see strategic use of free trade zones and special agro-processing zones to accelerate value creation. We see expanded gas utilization to power industries and households and to guarantee affordability and reliability. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, across Imo State, we also see the development of digital infrastructure that attracts ICT firms and fuels a modern information-driven economy. We see access to financing opportunities through institutions such as the Bank of Industry, the Development Bank of Nigeria, and our banks in the sector, along with the structured private-public partnerships in housing, transport, and renewable energy. All these possibilities converge to remind us that Imo is not just ready for investment. Imo is primed for transformation. The federal government stands ready to support Imo State in these investment areas. Our role is to work with you to unlock opportunities, to de-risk promising ventures, and to ensure that the benefits of development are felt across communities. To our investors here today, the message is unmistakable. Imo is open for business. Nigeria is open for business. And this government stands as your partner in progress. The world has moved beyond economies that depend solely on natural resources. The most competitive nations today are those that invest in technology, cultivate talent, and place innovation at the center of their development agenda. Imo State must position innovation as a core pillar of its growth strategy, whether in digital entrepreneurship, renewable energy solutions, smart agriculture, precision manufacturing, or the creative economy. Innovation will define the next chapter of economic expansion. The federal government is already implementing programs that empower young innovators, expand digital skills training, support tech clusters and innovation hubs, promote STEM education and foster research and development through partnerships with universities. The young people of Imo are creative, ambitious, and connected to the global knowledge economy. One gentleman, one of the anchors earlier described the Igbos as the Nigerian Jews. That credit goes to the late Ali Al-Amin Mashui. In his BBC program, The Triple Heritage, he mentioned that the Igbos are the Nigerian Jews, geographically mobile, economically enterprising, and educationally ambitious. The Igbo nation is an outlier nation, and the Nigerian nation is better within the Igbo as part of that dispensation. Our duty as a government and as a people is to give them the tools, the platforms, and the confidence to construct the future that awaits them. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I dare say that Ndibo are the greatest stakeholders in the Nigeria project. Half of Abuja is owned by Ndibo. Half of the population of Lagos is largely made up of Ndibo. There is hardly any place in this country, if you don't see an Igbo man, you better run away from that place. If you don't see a Hausa man, you better run away from that place. Because they go where opportunities abound. So, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I wish to appeal to our leaders to come and invest in this country, in Imo, and in all parts of the Federation, because this is a nation waiting to unleash its full potentials. As rightly captured by the former president of Mauritius, 1 out of every 4 black men is a Nigerian. And by 2050, we will surpass the United States. Nigeria will be the 3rd most populous nation on earth with a population of 440 million people. And by the end of the century, when all of us here must have become poor tenants in the home of the earthworms, Nigeria will be the most populous nation on earth. So I'm proud to call myself a Nigerian. The average age of the Nigerian nation is 16.9. And the trajectory of global growth is facing Africa. And I dare say that Nigeria will make Oramah that transition. The Asian tigers are aging. The former UN Secretary General is 81 years old, and probably he will live for the next 35 years. Taiwan, Korea, China, Malaysia, Singapore, they are all aging. But Africa is a young continent. India in 2024 earned over $100 million, $100 billion from process outsourcing alone. And according to Conferry, a global finance outfit, by 2035, there will be 65 million global talent deficits. The United States, Russia, and Brazil will each suffer from 6 million talent deficits. And there are more English speakers in Nigeria than in India. And with all modesty, the Nigerian variety of English, our own variant of English, is much more better than the Indian one. Your Excellency, you can testify to that. I believe you listen to Niger music. So, I'm not afraid of tomorrow. I'm very confident that with the caliber of leadership we have here, he's building a digital city here in Imo, and all our governors seated here. I was a governor for 8 years. I dare say that in the current democratic dispensation in this country, we have never had a set of governors that are in tune with the needs of the people, that there is pure pressure for them to excel, and that they know their onions better than the present crop of governors. I can mention the accomplishment of each and every one of them in education, in healthcare, in industry. Even in the area of humility, our governors of yesteryears have an exaggerated sense of self-importance, as if the world was created for them. But look at Monday Obekolo. He dresses simply. Look at the governor of Ekiti State. He moves freely in his state capital. Mai Malabuni is almost a political genius. He knows politics. So, Your Excellencies, of course, my friend, you have started wearing the Niger Delta bowler hat because you are getting proceeds from oil. Loki Aiyedatiwa, Loki Orimishan Aiyedatiwa, the executive governor of Ondo State. So, Your Excellencies, Nigeria is a great nation. And we envision a Nigeria where each state contributes its best to the national enterprise. A Nigeria where prosperity flows across regions rather than concentrating in a few urban centers. Imo has an integral role in this vision. By unlocking its potential through partnership, investment and innovation, Imo can become a hub for technology, a major contributor to national GDP, a magnet for creative industries, a model of inclusive economic development, and a leading center for SMEs and industrialization. Let this summit conclude not with good ideas alone. Let it lead to commitments that matter. Let it inspire partnerships, funded projects, and measurable outcomes that uplift the lives of the people of Imo State. The true success of today's gathering will be written in the improved livelihoods of communities, in the jobs created for young graduates, and in the businesses that will take root because we came together with a shared purpose. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I reaffirm the full support of the federal government of Nigeria under the able leadership of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to support you, Governor Hope Uzodinma, and the government and people of Imo State. We stand prepared to work with the government and people of Imo State, with local and international investors, and with every stakeholder gathered here today. We want to thank you for bringing the glitterati of the international community. President Boakai, I was there at his swearing-in ceremony, the humble and self-effacing leader. The maverick former British Prime Minister is an institution, globally respected, deliberately uncared with his bushy hair, but he's one of the smartest people that have ever ruled Britain. The former UN Secretary General, Ban Ki-moon, we are most grateful. The former President of Mauritius, Amina, we are most grateful. The Prime Minister of Sao Tome and Principe, I was there at your independence anniversary. we are most grateful. And of course, all of you here, we stand with you, we adore you, we respect you, and we'll keep this partnership going. Thank you, and may God bless us all.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, as you make your way down, you will just wait where your details are for a quick photo, as I will invite the following persons to join you in that photo. Your Excellency, our esteemed host Governor Hopsa, please join His Excellency. Please, sir. Let's also have joining him the President of Liberia, the Prime Minister of Sao Tome and Principe, the former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, the former UN Secretary General, the former President of Mauritius, the Coordinating Minister of the Economy, the National Chairman of APC. Now, while they are taking the pictures there, can I ask respectfully for all the governors in the room, if you can just please be on standby. Please let them not disturb this picture because I'm still going to add some more persons to them. Let them be on standby to join me on stage. Your Excellencies, the governors, I have the staircase to my left. If you can please, after the shot is taken, come, you will join them from this way. Some of your Excellencies can come and stand beside them. Do you have this picture? Your Excellency, Madam Deputy Governor, please, ma'am, if you can come join the picture. Do you have the shot, photographers? Do you have the shot? Give me a thumbs up. Thank you very much. Can I have His Excellencies, the governors, join them now? All the governors, all the progressive governors who are here, please join them. Yes. Your Excellencies, because of space, anyone that cannot take you here can come this way and come and join them up here. You can come and stand up here. There's a staircase that way. You can turn, but I think it can take you. Okay. You want to come up a bit, Your Excellency? No, I have the staircase that way, Your Excellency. Please, there's a staircase. Yeah, you are good where you are, Senator Okwebolo. This is okay for the governors, yes? This is okay for the governors. This is okay for the governors. Can I have all the senators who are in the room, please now come. But senators, you will come on stage. Senators, you will come on stage, real quick. All the senators, there's a staircase to my left. All the senators, there's a staircase to my left. Please use the staircase to my left. All senators, House of Rep members, use the staircase to my left. Or if you can access the one from behind His Excellencies, it's fine. But use the staircase to my left. All senators, all House of Rep. Your Excellency. Senators, honorable members, please come. Following them, the ministers will join. Would also like to call on the traditional rulers, if because of space, the chairman of Imo State Council of Traditional Rulers, and of course, His Imperial Majesty, Your Imperial Majesty, the traditional rulers, if you can also come. I have space here. Use the staircase to my left. Use the staircase to my left and come up. Traditional rulers, I have space this way. I have good space here. Your Majesties. No, here. Are you sure? Let me, while I'm doing this, also acknowledge the presence of the Group Managing Director and CEO of Access Holdings, Dr. Innocent Ike, the son of the soil. Following this, all right, do you have the picture? Okay, so while you are still standing there, thank you, Ban, thank you. We will take the national pledge to end the opening plenary. We'll take the national pledge to end the opening plenary. After that, we'll do a brief tour of the exhibition. We will come back in about 30 minutes to continue with our plenary. And so, ladies and gentlemen, on 3, the national pledge. 1, 2, 3. I pledge to Nigeria, my country. Shall we rise? Yes. To be faithful, loyal, and honest. To serve Nigeria with all my strength. To defend her unity and uphold her honor and glory. So help me God. Now, before you go to the exhibition, remain seated and allow His Excellencies, Your Excellencies, to proceed to other matters. Please remain seated and allow them proceed to other matters. Everyone, please remain seated for now. Everyone, please remain seated for now. The exhibition is this way. Everyone, please remain seated for now. The exhibition is this way to my left. Just remain seated briefly. We'll be back here at 3. Let's also acknowledge Ineka Joyce Enang, represent Group Head Corporate Banking and Specialized Businesses, representing the Group MD of Premium Trust Bank. Please free the space for His Excellencies to make, and Royal Majesties to make their way. Photographers, free the space. We are back at 3:40 to continue with proceedings. We have 2 plenary, we have a fireside chat. Thank you, Your Excellency. Mr. Vice President, thank you, Your Excellencies. Presidents of nations, Your Excellency, our host governor, governors of states, and of course, Your Royal Majesties, senators, honorable members. Man, bring her down small. If you misplace your car key to any of the MCs, please be back in the room at 3:40.
His Excellency Dr. Senator Hobuzodimma.